welcome back to a brand new episode of Translating Love. I'm Dani.
And I'm Woifi.
I feel like every time we say that, it becomes more and more like a commercial. It feels like a commercial every time we...
If you call now...
Call 1-800-TRANSLATE.
And if you call now, you get 2 packages for the price of 3. That's a great deal. And also...
Packages of what?
Also, I don't know. And also a free butter knife. 1 butter knife. Because we all lose our butter knives all the time.
We do?
Yeah, it's a thing.
You lose your butter knives? I lose my, hair ties and things. But
no, everyone loses their butter knives.
Okay.
I'm buying literally 20 butter knives every week because I lose them all the time.
You know, that's actually an interesting transition. Not really, but I'm going to work with it. Butter is food, technically.
Yeah.
It's something we put in our
bodies. I know where I'm going to.
And we actually have a guest.
A bagel. Oh.
Now, you don't eat a bagel with butter. You eat a bagel with cream cheese. Get out of here.
We have a guest today.
She is a nutrition coach.
Yeah.
In Germany.
Yeah.
And we found her through Instagram, and we've both been following her for a while. And she has the coolest content where she makes it so fun to learn about nutrition. She's vegan, so she specializes more in vegan nutrition and helping people with eating disorders, helping people have a better relationship with food, which is why we thought it would fit. As we said before, we're kind of starting to go in a slightly different direction.
We're just trying out things. We're branching out.
Exactly.
And we also want to learn a little bit.
Right. But this still fits in terms of relationships because it's about our relationship with food and ultimately our relationship with our own body and body positivity and self-image and all of that. So
let's dive in. We are happy to announce that we're having a guest today. Leonie is with us. Hi, Leonie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We say thank you that you are on our podcast and you are sharing your knowledge with us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So I've been following you on Instagram for a while now, and first of all, your posts are amazing.
Thanks.
You are doing such a great job with gathering all the sources and just providing a super interesting, but also even for dummies, as I am, a really good base knowledge in terms of food, in terms of the chemics of food and the different, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Yeah, but for example, today you did a post on insulin.
Yes.
And it was just super interesting. So if you're not following her, we are putting an Instagram tag in the description. So our first question would be, so what is exactly your profession? So what are you doing for a living? And what was your main motivation or goal behind achieving that?
So I am a nutrition coach in the one way for vegan nutrition particularly. And my main motivation to start all this was that I've myself been vegan for about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years now. And it was a long process, and I always loved animals and pets especially. And it took me a long time to make the connection between my ethical thoughts and my consumption. And when I made it, I started being vegan, and at this time I was studying biochemistry. Biochemistry is very about chemistry and some things of biology, but it's not about food in any case. The biochemistry of food was what I was really interested in. So I first made the step for ethical reasons to go vegan, but then I got very fascinated by all the topics about the metabolism and how food has an impact on our health and in long term, and how food and healthy food is connected with being healthy and not getting diseases like diabetes and so on. And so I dived into these topics, and I thought I was so amazed by all of this, and I just wanted to share it because there was so much that I learned, and I think I found my way how I could share it on this Instagram channel, where I want everybody to have this information if he or she is looking for it. And so you can just go online and learn something, I hope in a maybe fun way sometimes, and getting used to a healthy lifestyle and knowing what for and what are the connections behind this in a biochemical way. And what I do for a living is then coaching. So people come to me and they want to eat healthier. Most of them are vegan already, and they want to go in the direction of whole food more. And so I work with them, and so this is what's going on there, and it's always a little different. So in the coaching, depends on what are the goals from the other people.
To just intersect here, like did you experience like more people having interest in veganism, or like to a plant-based diet, or is it something that you see is like trending more?
You mean in the last years or what?
Yeah, in the last couple of years, I would say.
So we see that with Greta Thunberg and Fridays for Future, it's a topic that's getting bigger. So the climate aspect of food and meat, in especially, so is very big. And veganism maybe was a topic that was in the corner some years ago, but now we see that it's getting bigger and bigger. And even if not all the people are saying, I want to only eat vegan from now on, it's a topic that is more accepted by the whole society, I think. And it's getting more in this direction in the next years, I would think, probably.
The people that you're coaching do you also coach people who aren't vegan? And if so, is that hard for you? Because for me, that would be difficult, mostly on for ethical reasons.
The most people who come to me are vegan, and sometimes there are people who want to change their eating habits and transform it to a vegan-only diet. But some people are there who are saying, I only want to do plant-based things and go vegan like 80%, and the rest maybe sometimes meat. And that is totally fine for me, because I want to have where I can. And it's always with the focus of the vegan whole foods diet. And I don't see myself able to tell somebody to eat meat, or even in a nutrition coaching way, because this is not my specialization, and I even don't want to go there. So in the first talk I have with people who want to become clients, maybe we talk about it, and we look if it's good to work together, or if it just doesn't fit, and then it's okay either way.
Okay. You already said like the healthy lifestyle and healthy eating habits, and I think in the Western civilizations, eating habits can be a big problem. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people are turning to like coaches like yourself and asking for like guidance to eat healthier, to have a healthier lifestyle?
So we have two big main topics here in the Western civilization, and the one thing we see is that more and more people get obesity and gaining weight too much by eating the wrong food over a long term. And the other thing is in exactly the other direction, that more and more people are distracted maybe by social media or something, and are shown pictures of a healthy lifestyle from other people who seem to be happy, and so they pursue this lifestyle and are going in the other direction, so more in like anorexia or orthorexia. So there are these two directions, and both comes with the Western civilization by all the things we have here in our daily life, like no time, no social aspect in many cases, where you have regular dinner times with friends or family, and you don't want to spend much time on cooking, you don't want to spend much money on fruits or vegetables, and so it seems easier at first to just buy the fast food, the convenience food, and we have that a lot here in Germany, at least.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I think a big misconception is, and I hear that all the time, that eating healthy is so expensive, which is, I mean, it can be true, obviously, but I think eating crap all the time can be expensive too.
Yeah, and it doesn't turn out in the long term. So if you're getting diabetes or obesity or something, you have to pay much more money and much more energy in the end than just to eat healthy, get the energy, the life from the food that you eat, and stay healthy for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you think that women are more susceptible to unhealthy eating habits? And if so, is that because of the media, or are there other factors that play a role into that?
If we go in the direction of anorexia, the data shows that one out of 100 women, young women, are affected by eating disorders or going in this direction.
Wow.
And yes, and with men, it says that it's about 1 out of 1,000. So that seems to be a problem that are women more affected with. But I think there's a big number of cases that are not reported, and so if we're not going with the directly disorder thing, so emotional eating and skipping and having strict rules you give yourself, and having an unhealthy relationship to food in your mind, I think nearly every woman at least one state of her life experienced this. And this is maybe, about a lot about the media, but not only social media. I think about media in the whole concept. We see that women have much pressure, or feel much pressure for to look like some idol, and to feel or to fit in a concept that is not achievable. And so social media can trigger this. If we have our social media filled with feeds of healthy foods, unhealthy, trained, but maybe unhealthy wearing women, so that look skinny, that look beautiful in some way, but you don't see the whole picture. You never do. And so this can trigger the things that you get to strict rules for your own body, for your own relationship to food, that are really not comforting yourself. But you could also, I don't want to go there and blame social media for it, because you could go there and use social media for something like spreading more awareness. And there are many channels you can choose of that are giving a good body positivity or something.
Mm-hmm. I think that's happening more recently.
It's much more open
especially
now.
Women, empowering women show their bodies as they are and just say, hey, this is how I am, this is how I look, and I love myself the way I am, even though I'm not like perfect in the media sense, in the sense that like media portrays a perfect body.
Yes, and I really love that.
It's really cool to see that this is happening more, and especially, as you said, for younger people who are probably more influenced in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How, like, if we think about, like, okay, I'm eating like semi-healthy, I'm eating vegetables, but most of the time I'm having fast food or like, you know, pizza, stuff like that. How can we develop and practice a healthy relationship with food? Because I think that got lost at some point in our society a little bit, because with fast food and, like, you know, we don't take time for food anymore. We need food as fast as possible, and we need to eat it as fast as possible because we don't have time to even sit down and take the time to eat it.
Yes. Yeah, I think what you said last that we don't have the time, I think we often forget to take the time for that, because we don't see how important it is to take some time for eating or to prep a meal for the next day, because it seems to work just to eat a hamburger, and it seems to work out that you just buy some fries or something, and it does in the short term, but maybe not in the long term. But what is the first step to develop a healthy relationship to food is to accept where you am and accept that you yourself are the expert for your body and for what your body needs. So we often have a lot of rules that come from all kinds of people who are telling you, eat this, eat that, you should eat so much of this thing, and you should buy this thing and eat that. So we always can take a step back and listen to our body, and there are some things that work for me personally, maybe that won't work for you, and this is okay. And so you don't have to follow some strict rules given you by others, or you see that others follow. And if you see this and go there, you can then reflect your eating habits. And so whatever this is where you're coming from, you can take a step back and just have a moment and think of, where are you right now? Where do you want to go from what are your goals? What do you just want to eat healthy? Then you can define healthy. Is it to eat fresh cooked meals every day, or is it to eat a banana once a week, so that you have a goal that you can achieve? And it could even be to being okay with having a piece of cake sometimes, or once a week. This could be a health.
I like the
this
I
could
like
be
that
a
aspect of not restricting yourself.
Yes. So this is a thing I sometimes see in the coaching, by the way, that there are people coming who are eating very, very healthy, and they are so concerned and asking if it is enough and what they could do better and something. And then the first thing we do is that I say, okay, I look at the diary. They often fill out a diary for their eating habits about 7 days. And then in the Zoom meeting, the first thing I say is, okay, you can breathe. It's okay. You are totally fine. There's nothing wrong with what you eat. And you don't have to stress yourself out. It's okay. And this is a big aspect of being in a healthy relationship with food, that you allow yourself to enjoy the food that you are eating.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like that.
Yeah. So so it's always a lot of going back and reflecting on your eating habits, and and look at the emotional aspect and the triggers, and defining goals that you actually can achieve, whatever they may look like. And you can go to a coach and get the help, but the coach doesn't have to give you strict rules that you get all over the media in some way, but it's about supporting, finding your own way to a healthy diet. And then it's okay to get the information, like, okay, what is seen as healthy, what has a lot of fiber or something, and so someone have to get you the answer, but you have to look what feels good, reflect on it, and define the trigger and see the trigger you are maybe having for emotional eating or something, or why you restrict yourself in some ways, and then you can work on that. Yeah.
That was a really big problem for me when I was younger. In my early 20s, right before my 20s and into my 20s, I was an emotional eater, and I gained a lot of weight because I was depressed. I was struggling with depression when I was around 19 through 24, 25. And so I ate every time I was stressed or I was sad or just not feeling like doing anything. I would just eat. And I didn't recognize that as an eating disorder until a couple of years ago. But when I started to try to get healthy, I went in the opposite direction, but obsessively, which was also not healthy, where I was obsessively weighing all of my food. I was making sure I hit a specific amount of fat and protein and carbohydrates every single day for a year. And it became an obsession, which was also a very unhealthy way of living. And so I think it's really important to find a balance between the two, where I wouldn't allow myself to eat anything that was considered unhealthy, because for me that felt like I was failing. And so it was a difficult time to try to find that balance. But I think that's what's so important, to be able to enjoy food and find the habits that you don't like and find new habits that you do like, but still be able to enjoy the things that you enjoy.
But how did you make it? How did you overcome this thing?
Yeah, a lot of it was once I started being more physically active. Instead of just focusing on food, I also got more into sports, and I would go to the gym more frequently. And then I started feeling good about myself. And it was honestly, if I'm totally honest, within the last year, I really started to analyze the way that I think about food and the way that I think about myself. And with all of the body positivity that's going around on social media, I really kind of dove into that and was really inspired. And so I just took a lot of time to reflect on how, like, my relationship with food and my relationship with my own body, and started to journal a lot. And I just started to kind of feel into myself a little bit and accept the stage where I am when I'm in that stage, have goals, but not be so stressed about reaching them by a certain point, just doing it in my own time and trying to love myself at every stage.
Oh, yeah, that's so beautiful. Thanks for sharing. I think what you just said, this is the main aspect of it. You said you were reflecting and journaling a lot, and feeling good in your body, what you got over being more active, physically active. Mm-hmm. And I do think too that it's a lot about connect with yourself and connect with your body. And this could be a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So if it's doing workouts, it's fine. For other people, it's maybe dancing. For other people, it's yoga. For other people, it's meditating. Mm-hmm. For other people, me too, is it journaling. And so you can really find your own way to connect to yourself, to connect to your feelings, to connect to your body, mm-hmm. and feel your body and feel your feelings, and and then reflect on that.
Yeah, I like that, especially because food is not, it's energy. It's something that we need, obviously, to survive, mm-hmm. but it also depends on what you put in your body. And I mean, we all know that if we drink a lot of alcohol, and alcohol is poison to our system, we feel like shit basically the day after. So it makes sense that we eat certain things and then we don't feel good. And in the long term, it damages our system. Mm-hmm. It makes us sick, maybe even. So I think it's a good idea to especially feel and see, okay, what does my body need? And what should I do, or shouldn't I give my body? Like what things should I cut out of my diet?
Yeah, but this is a tricky one, because if you are really connected to your body, and if you're already set it in a whole foods diet or something like this, it's you hear the voice of your body, and you can translate it to I need to eat this, or maybe I don't need to eat right now. I rather go journaling or something on my feelings. Yeah. But some foods, and it's sugar, and it's some saturated fatty acids, they are designed for our body, for our brain, to give a good rush of dopamine, to make us feel good in the short term. And so it's tricky to say, or maybe it can be hard to make the step that you have to look what feels good for your body, because some candies that are full of sugar can feel good in the first place. But there you have to decide which kind of good is this. And sometimes it can be good to eat it because you like the sugar feeling and you feel good with it, but we often see that is triggering the aspects in our brain, but the emotional aspect is that we're feeling guilt in some way. So then then we maybe have to transform these feelings or our habits.
Because we were talking briefly about eating disorders, do you have tips for things that a partner can do to support somebody with an eating disorder? So if they're dating somebody who has an eating disorder, what they can do to support them and to help them develop better eating habits?
Mm-hmm. It's a great question. Thank you for that. Let me think about it, because I would say you can't help somebody who isn't willing to get help. Mm-hmm. And so when you see that your partner is having an unhealthy relationship or even developed an eating disorder, you can search for a talk with them, and you can ask them whether they are aware of their eating habits, and then you can accept like you accept that you are the expert for your own body, you have to accept that the other person is the expert for his or her body. And and then you can just give them space where they can talk to you in a safe space in some way, and where they can open up, and then you can ask them, what can I do to help you? And they will know. And it could be that they say, it's my thing, don't worry about it, leave me alone. And then you can accept it. Or they say, yeah, I need your help, please cook for me every night so that I don't eat, or so that I don't skip the meal or something. And whatever they may say, then you can look where you can support them in the way they are suggesting, because otherwise it wouldn't be help, it would be something, you give them maybe support your feeling of helping, but it's not actually helping, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can't force someone to change. The change has to come within themselves. And you have to accept first that you need to change something in order to get better, whatever that may be. Yeah. Because we talked about like veganism and healthy foods, and I mean that's something a lot of people say, and of course it's kind of true. I mean, you already said it with saturated fats and sugar and stuff like that. A lot of people say, yeah, healthy food doesn't taste as good, and especially when it comes to vegan food. What is your response to that? Because I personally think it's bullshit. But what is your response to that if someone tells you that, or if you hear that?
That's the thing with vegan food. It's considered as being healthy and unhealthy at the same time, I think. So a lot of people say, oh, it's too healthy, or no, you can't do it, it's unhealthy for your body. And this, at the same time, it can't be. What is it? But if someone would say this to me, I would probably laugh and say, did you ever try it? I think you did it wrong or something. Because it can be so simple to eat a healthy meal, to eat a healthy vegan meal, and this is whole foods, and so I think the person did eat the wrong thing that didn't taste as good, but should try another time.
Or they think that vegan food is just grass and bread and noodles, and you can't eat anything else.
Yes.
It's weird because, I mean, we already talked about you shouldn't restrict yourself in terms of your diet, because that can lead to an unhealthy relationship with food. And the misconception that veganism is a restriction because you cut out certain food types is so big in especially here in Austria and Germany, where the meat consumption is still so massively high that you can't even argue. I mean, you probably had that conversation before where people said, "Oh,
what do you eat?"
What do you eat? the question that we get all the time, like, "You're vegan. What do you eat?" What do you say to those people? It's hard. I don't know, because they can't wrap their head around the whole veganism thing, it seems.
So vegan in the first place means that you cut off all animal products like meat and dairy products. But we see that a lot of people that are giving a chance to a vegan diet, they are experiencing that there are a lot of more options of plant foods that they didn't have all their life. Like all the spectrum of beans, and if you go in that area, so many people experienced that they are finding so much more new things they can add into their plate and on their plate than the ones they are cutting out.
Yeah.
And
that's what we found. we when we went vegan almost 3 years ago, and for us it was the same. We felt like we have never had more variety in the foods that we eat. And I think if you take the time to learn and you take the time to try new recipes or get a vegan cookbook and just once a week try something new, you learn so much just by doing that, because you might use something that you've never used before, or you might buy something that you've never heard of. And I think you learn so much, and we have more variety in our diet now than we did when we weren't vegan.
Yeah, I agree. And also there, like in the worldwide, there are so many cultures who are almost vegan or basically vegan, and you don't even have to change anything when you cook something from their food. It's so cool.
Yeah, right. But I do understand if people find it difficult in the first place, because if you never in your lifetime thought about, okay, what is the exact list of ingredients here, and what names I have to think about when I look at the list of ingredients, and so this could take a long time, and maybe many products you were used to using you can't anymore. You can't, or you don't want to. And so this could be difficult in the first place, maybe. And I experienced this when I was the only vegan around and was somewhere at a party or something. The people cared about it. They knew, oh, she's vegan, she's coming, and we have to think about something vegan to eat. But so they wrapped their head around it and bought the most fancy vegan food I've ever seen, and I was like, oh, I would be happy with bread with some olive oil, but this fancy cake something is great too. Okay, I take that. And it must not be that hard, but for in the first place when you get used to this topic, it may be, but it gets easier. So
yeah, totally. It's I think, we are so like the regular European or almost everywhere diet is so hammered into our brains, and I think in the actual food pyramid, dairy and meat products are still in there, or did they already vanish?
Didn't they kind of get rid of the food pyramid though? It's like a plate now, or it was a plate.
I don't know,
for
but
a while.
I think those products are still on there. So we still as a young adult or like teenager and kid, you're getting your milk class, and they tell you drink your milk because it's good for your bones and everything. All besides that, the milk industry is a whole other horrible deal, but there's so many misconceptions that are hammered into our brains. And of course, when you grew up like that, and then at some point people tell you, hey, cut those foods out of your diet because they're not good for you. They're like, okay, how, why? But I need my milk for my bones.
Yeah, it's so important. You talked about the food pyramid. In Germany, it's a circle, and from the official side, Deutsche Gesellschaft für Ernährung, it should be filled to 75% with plants-only food, and just 25% is assumed to be from animal products, and this is the milk and some meat products. And they already say on their website that you should eat more veggies. Veggies should more that you should eat more veggies. That you should eat more fruits and so on,
grains.
and that you eat more fiber that you only get from plants, and eat less meat and less industrial meat products. So we all, vegan or not, should consider eating more plants at one day. In one day.
That's actually a perfect segue into the last question we have for you, which is, how can we in general promote a healthier lifestyle surrounding food? So not just vegan, not vegan, vegetarian, whatever however people might define their diet. How can we promote a healthier lifestyle?
I would say the first thing would be, don't go shopping hungry.
Yes.
And so
good idea.
to prevent that food haul you may take. And then you can try to cook fresh as often as you can, and as whole food based and whole plant based as possible. And when you're living alone, either ask a friend if you could share a meal prep plan or something, or focus on meals that you can cook that will last a few days in the fridge. And this part is very easy with vegan food. Just store it in the fridge. It won't get bad in some days. And then try to shift the wording in your head. This is more about the relationship in food, I think. In German, we have the word gönnen, and I think it means indulge.
Indulge.
In English. And so you can not only indulge yourself a burger or ice cream. You can do the same thing with a porridge with berries to support your health, and getting this good feeling not only from the sweet rush of sugar and saturated fatty acids, but from whole foods
broccoli
too. So you can transform the meaning of the word that it's a good thing for you and your body and your mind to eat healthy. And so I think this are the two aspects. The one that you do in the outside, on the outside, that you don't go shopping hungry. Just try to prep your meals, prep the week. How can you manage the whole thing in your day? And the other thing is more about the inner work. What food do I want to give me? How do I feel about the food? How can I transform the feelings I have when I'm eating, and so on. And so in the end, it's about awareness, information, and making a plan that works out for you.
Yeah. That's great. Also, I think with that comes, like, when you start going more into that stuff, like prepping foods and thinking about what should I eat this day, what should I eat that day, I think there comes also more awareness of, okay, what like vegetables are like seasonal right now, what vegetables are growing on the fields here right now, without buying stuff from Spain or from Turkey or wherever. And that alone gives you a more sustainable outlook on food and where it comes from, and lowers your CO2 level, and all that stuff. That it's funny because you think like, okay, I'm trying to get healthy, but once you start doing that, you lean into much more, and like a whole new world opens up in front of you. And people don't believe that. People just don't believe it. But once you do it, and once you like especially open up and get more in tune with your body, and it's insane. It's just like,
there's so much to learn.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, maybe they will someday.
Hopefully. Thank you so much for taking your time and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with us.
With us.
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Where can people reach you, first of all?
So I'm reachable at Instagram. My channel is Vegan mit Leo. You should find that if you type that down. And
we'll put that in the description.
And there is linked my website, which is Leonie-Zimmermann.de. So it's a German speaking website. And there you can just text me or on Instagram. I think Instagram is the easiest way where I see something coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you should really check out Leonie's Instagram. It's amazing.
And it's fun.
It's fun.
You have all of these quizzes sometimes in your stories, and I love doing the quizzes because I also want to test my own knowledge. Because I learned very, very, very little about it when I was studying massage, because we also had to learn about hormones and we had to learn about all of that, like physiology and stuff. And so sometimes it's fun for me to test, do I really know this? Did I really learn it? But it's also, it's so informative, but you make it in such a fun way where it's really engaging and it makes it fun to learn.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's great.
Thank you. That's the plan. I'm grateful to hear that it works for you. Thank you.
Oh, it does. It does. Okay, thank you. We wish you a nice evening and thanks for being on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You too. Bye.
Wow, that was a great conversation.
It was a great conversation.
I have to say I like having guests on because I know then that I don't know everything.
I mean, we don't ever know everything.
I mean, I usually know everything. But every time we have a guest on, I'm like, okay, I don't know everything.
I see.
Yeah, but now I'm back. There's no guest anymore, so I know everything again.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the square root of 5,275,000?
205,600,000.52367.
You said 205,000. Or 2,005,000 or something.
Nobody knows what I said. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. They can't rewind 10 seconds.
Thank God we didn't record it. Matt, yeah,
that was a very long pause.
Yeah, that was a great conversation. So we linked the Instagram of Leonie in the description. Check her out. Really, it's even if you're not vegan, doesn't matter.
And even if you don't speak German, because on Instagram you can hit the little translate button under the stuff, and you learn that way too.
She does such a great job of providing the information in a way where you learn, you have fun with it, and it's accessible. It's just super accessible. You don't have to Google anything. It's just all there. And then she just hits you with a list of further readings. Like if you want to dive into certain subjects more. She always provides like her Quellen. Sources, thank you. And yeah, she has a great Instagram.
See, you don't know everything, huh?
I don't know everything. That's my weakness. Okay, other than that, if you liked what you hear, please consider subscribing. And
give us a rating.
Give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. That would be cool. And you can hit us up on our Instagram. Other than that.
And don't forget about my listenable course on listenable.io.
It's still in the
description. And I keep getting new students, and I'm really excited about that.
That's great. So we hear each other next week.
Or you hear us next week.
Yeah. Bye!
Goodbye!